Now I am going to start a fresh topic, but that is related with the earlier 4 topics, that is President, Vice President, Prime Minister and Councils of Ministers. Earlier I have told you that article, see our today's topic, first of all I want to say today's topic is a state executive, but before that let's memorize that article 52 to 78 deals with Union Executive. I hope all of you have covered the last 4 lectures. So now deals with our fresh topic, that deals with a state executive. So article 52 to 78 deals with Union Executive, and from article 153 to 162 deals with about the state executive, and even the first topic in a state executive will be governor. Okay, so in the state executive there will be 3 body comprises. In the Union Executive the 4 body comprises, that 4 bodies will be number 1 President, number 2 Vice President, number 3 Prime Ministers and number 4th is Union Councils of Ministers. And in the state executive authority, number 1 Governor of the state, number 2 Chief Minister of the state and number 3 a State Council of Ministers, not Union Council of Ministers, it is a State Council of Ministers. So we will deal with today's a state executive. See article 153 to 162, have you got it? Article 153 to 162 deals with a state executive, and today we will go through governor. So there shall be a governor. Okay, and see, as like in the constitution there is a provision that there shall be President of India, in the same way in the constitution of our nation it is mentioned that there shall be a governor of each state. It is mandatory. Okay, but it may possible that one governor, suppose I am giving an example, it's assumption but it is reality in that is mentioned in the constitution of India, that 3 states, suppose there are the 3 states, if a President of India wants, then even he can appoint one single governor for more than one state, or even suppose a union territory, okay, a UT, union territory, any UT like Chandigarh or something else, any union territory, and this is a state, okay, this is a state, then it is also possible that this governor will see a state as well as UT too. I mean, the more thing, one of the most common thing I want to take you here is that one governor can lead more than one state if president wants. Not only more than one state, but even one state and one UTs, 2 UTs, one state, 2 UTs, anything. Okay. So, but originally it was not mentioned. Before 1956, there shall be one governor for one state, one governor for one UT. But after, see, but after 7th Constitutional Amendment Act 1956, this is 7th Constitutional Amendment Act 1956, there is a provision mentioned and amendment has been done, and a new amendment, a new thing has been inserted in the Constitution of India by 7th Constitutional Amendment Act 1956, that a governor can lead more than one states or even more than one UTs. Okay. So now I hope these all points are clear to all of you. So I am moving to the next slide. Our next slide is about constitutional head. Tell me students, who is the constitutional head of India? Okay, so it is President of India. Fine, it is President of India. But at the state level, actually who is the constitutional head? That is governor. Governor is the constitutional head of the respective state. Are you getting it? It's very simple actually. So we can see that governor is the constitutional head of the state and president is the constitutional head of the India. So these are the correlation which you can even correlate. Even I will not tell you you can correlate if you attended our previous lecture. You can correlate, keep one side at the union executive and the other side a state executive. Okay, so compare president with governor. Okay, please compare and try to analyze that what are the differences between them and what are the similarities between them. So similarities are almost the same one. Okay, only little bit difference that I will tell you in this session. So next slide I will tell about detail. Okay, so let's see. Bounded by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, it is the same one like president is bounded by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. President is bounded by the aid and advice given by the Prime Minister as well as given by the Union Councils of Ministers. Okay, here is the same way. Governor is bounded by the aid and advice of the Chief Minister as well as governor is bounded by the aid and advice of the state councils of ministers. Okay, state councils of ministers. But in certain cases, governor has discretionary power too. Okay, why this kind of situation has been created for a state, I will explain it. Now move slide. I am moving to the next slide. See, first of all, understand that what is the eligibility criteria to become a governor. Okay, there are some kind of eligibility criteria to become President of India. In the same way, there are few eligibility criteria which should be fulfilled to become a governor of any respective states. Fine. First of all, this is the common one, 35 years of age minimum. Minimum 35 years of age should have been completed to become president as well as governor of a state. Indian citizen, this is common in all of them. See, here is not a member of either parliament or legislative assembly. If anybody want to become governor of any respective states, or anyone will become the governor of any states only when he will not be a MP and MLA. It means not a member of parliament and not a member of legislative assemblies. Okay. In the same way, what was the situation of present? The present situation for president is that president should not be an MP, even he is not should be an MLA. If he will, he have to resign, only after then he will appointed as President of India. In the same way, if any contestant who again become the governor of any respective states, then again we can compare that he should not be an MP and he should not be an MLA. Fine. Last thing, this is also common, just legislative assembly included in it. Not hold any office of profit. Legislative assembly included, but this is also for them, president. See, not hold any office of profit. Same one. Okay. What is office of profit? I will take a separate session on that. That's a huge and vast topic. So moving to the next slide. I hope I am not moving too fast. If I am moving, then please understand that all of you know about the criteria on all the topics related to the President of India. I have covered 3 sessions for especially President of India. So you can understand it easily. See, terms, their term is 5 years but not fixed. He is working on the pleasure of the president. If president, see, President of India is elected, not directly elected, but anyway elected. See, here is Union Executive Council, here is a State Executive Council. Okay, students, Union Executive Council, State Executive Council. Here is President, here is Vice President. Are you getting it? Here is Prime Minister and here is Councils of Ministers. Seat. Union Executive Council, a State Executive Council. In Union Executive Councils, there are 4 bodies: President, Vice President, Prime Minister and Councils of Ministers. In the same way, here is Governor. Nothing. Here is Chief Minister and here is a State Councils of, okay, Councils of Minister means Central Council of Minister. Here is a State Council of Ministers. Are you getting it? But the difference is what? president is elected, not directly elected, but is indirectly elected, but in any way president is a elected one na. I have told you the whole procedures. Vice president too is an elected one by the electoral colleges, both of them, and prime minister is directly elected. When we compare the election of president with prime minister, then in that comparison we can say that prime minister is directly elected and president is indirectly elected. When we compare both president and vice president and prime minister, when we compared prime minister and president or prime minister with vice president, then we can say that by both comparing one, then we can say that prime minister is directly elected and president and vice president is indirectly elected. But in India, prime minister is not directly elected. When we compare with president and vice president, it is directly elected, but in reality he is not directly elected. We are directly electing our MPs, and those MPs are elect their leader as prime minister. Okay, so elected one, president is elected one, vice president is elected one, prime minister is elected one, and council of ministers is maintained by prime ministers. Prime minister form council of ministers. Here is governor, but the difference is that governor is not an elected one, it is an appointed one, nominated one, a kind of nominated one, nominated and appointed by President of India. Okay, governor will be appointed by President of India. Fine. Here vice president, nothing present in a state level. Chief minister is directly elected. In a way, in the same way, we choose MPs directly, and those MPs choose their leader as prime minister. In the same way, we choose MLAs, okay, in our states, and those MLAs choose their leader to become chief minister of that state. Fine. A state council of ministers maintained and chaired by chief minister. So the difference is that here is the top executive authority, means the nominal executive authority is president, that is elected one, but here is governor is an appointed one, that is appointed by President of India. See, that term is 5 years, but governor will complete his 5 years only until the president don't remove it. Otherwise, whenever president wish, they can remove it within 1 day, 1 hour, or within 5 years, or even governor can complete 5 years. Okay. And even it is possible that suppose there is a governor named A, is present time a governor in any state. Now before completion of terms, after completion of terms, he can be shifted to any other state for the governor post, but even before the completion of terms, he can be shifted to any state. Okay, and in that state their tenure will be now start from 5 years. Okay, this is the key point. Are you getting it? Suppose in Maharashtra today a new governor is appointed. If he is completed his 5 years, then he can transfer to anybody, any other place if president wants. Okay, or otherwise if president wants, then he can transfer him Maharashtra to even UP, okay, or even Uttarakhand, Delhi, okay, or even in any states like any other states. Okay, so before completion of 5 years, he will transfer to some other states, and his date will start from whenever he appointed the new state. Okay, his date of 5 years are starting from when he was appointing to a new state, not from the previous one. Okay. Second is that depending upon pleasure of president. Have you got it? I hope so. So moving to the next slide. See students, what are the powers of governor? We have read about the powers of the President of India. Now we will see the powers of the governor. Okay. So let's see students. The governor is a part of legislature, of course, as like president is part of parliament. President is part of parliament. President can go in Lok Sabha as well as in Raj Sabha if he wishes. Okay, even president address the first session of when the new election held, then the first session of parliament will be addressed by president. Not only that, even whenever any new financial year start, then president will address the first session of that financial year. Okay, so in the same way, governor is a part of legislature. He can address to the legislatures as well as he can send message to the legislature. Whenever governor feels that any message should be passed to the legislative assembly and to the legislatures, governor will pass his message to the legislature. Right to address legislature and send message, I have cleared it. Summons, prorogue and dissolve the session. What is meant by summon? Starting a session. Prorogue, ending a session. Dissolve the session means if students, if the ruling government has failed to prove majority and if government has fallen before the completion of terms of 5 years, then governor has power to dissolve the legislative assembly as well as he has the power to dissolve the session too. Okay, whenever he wants, whenever chief minister will advise that start the state legislative assembly session, there are also the same kind of session that in parliament goes like. So 2 to 3 sessions almost happen in a state legislative assembly. So on that advice and advice of chief ministers, governor will schedule a date for starting a session, that is summon of session. Prorogue of session means ending of session, and even dissolve of session means whenever in a midterm, whenever governor feels that it's time to dissolve the session, he can dissolve. Not only that, if government full to prove majority, then even at that time governor will dissolve the legislative assembly and the government will collapse. Okay, whole state council of ministers will have to resign. Okay, prior recommendation for financial statement like budget, when the union budget was tabled or is tabled in parliament, then you can see that our finance minister, before tabling the budget, union budget to parliament, he or she will visit to the president. Why? Because he or she will have to take prior approval from the president to table that union budget. Okay, in the parliament. In the same way, whenever the finance minister of any state will have to table the state budget, not union budget, but because a state finance minister will table only a state budget. So whenever a state finance minister will going to table the state financial budget, then prior recommendation should be taken and must be taken from the governor that I am going to table this state financial statement, this financial budget of this state. Okay, so prior recommendation is necessary in that sense. So all are correlating. So that's why it is getting too easy. Okay, so I am moving to the next slide, students. See, mercy powers. All of you know, I have told you 5 mercy powers of President of India. I am not going to repeat all one by one because I have given a detailed lecture on that part. So please, if you are not getting it, please go to the lectures of mercy power of president lecture and you can recapitalize yourself, you can revision yourself and got it. No much difference, but see, in mercy power, if anybody got death punishment, then governor has no power to stop it. Otherwise, president has the power. President has the power to terminate the death sentence of any convicted person. But governor has not that kind of power. One extra thing is that president can pardon and forgive those persons too, those offended persons too, those convicted persons too, whose punishment has been heard by military courts, army courts. Okay, but if any kind of punishment has been given by the army courts, military courts, then governor can't forgive, governor can't pardon their sentence. Okay, so these are the two main differences. Then number one, If any death sentence has been given, president can forgive that offensed one, president can pardon that one, but governor can't do in death sentence. And other thing is that president can even give forgiveness and can pardon to those convicted person who has got punishment from military and army courts too, but governor can't give forgiveness and can't pardon those offenses, those convicted persons who got their punishment from military and army courts. Okay, so this is the difference in mercy power. So now I am going to the next slide. Okay, our next slide will be, see, this is a little bit tricky one. If you not get it, you can not mark the correct answer. See, in the Supreme Court and High Court judge appointment, during the lecture of president, I have told you that president appoints the judges of Supreme Court and High Court. President appoints. So don't memorize in that kind that if president and governor is doing parallel work almost in most of the conditions, so president is appointing judges and chief justice of Supreme Court. So in the same way, at the state level, governor will appoint judges of High Court. Not like that. President will appoint judges of Supreme Court too and judges of the High Court too. So president is the one guy. Okay, president is the one authority which will appoint judges of Supreme Court as well as judges of High Court too. But when president will appoint judges of High Court, then president will consult to governor of that respective state. Whenever president will appoint any judge of High Court, then president has to consult governor of that respective state. Are you getting it? I hope this is clear to all of you. So moving to the next slide. Okay, what is our next slide? That is emergency power. See, here is the difference one. President has the emergency power, 3 emergency power, but I will take a separate session on emergency powers of president. Okay, but actually governor has almost no emergency power. Only governor has if any kind of uncertainty or any kind of exceptional situation created in any state, then the governor of that respective state has to submit a report on those issues and submit the report to the president. But governor can't put emergency on behalf of their own discretion. Okay, so here is the difference between governor and president. See, one thing I was telling you that, see, a question may arise that, sir, president is an elected one, but why governor has been put on the states? Okay, because unelected one. Because see, India is a quasi federal state, not totally federal or not totally union. It's a quasi federal. What is quasi federal? I will totally explain all the. But see, since see in a simple way, since this is India and see these are the small states of India inside India. So okay, so if suppose if this state has its own CM, its own a state council of ministers and its own governor, elected governor or even appointed governor by chief minister or by a state itself, if chief ministers and MLAs choose their governor, then what is the relation between a state, Indian state and the smaller states present inside India? So a state will, it is possible not that a state will say that I am free. Okay, I am free to do anything. So to control that things, only because of that, governor is being a nominee of president of India. Governor is being a nominee of Indian government to cooperate between a state and union government, to look after the working behavior of a state. Okay, because somehow it is the responsibility of the union government, okay, to look into the affairs of a states too. Is all thing going well in this state or not? So it is the duty of a state government, but it is the duty of central government too. Okay, that is why a person has been sent from the central authority to look after the working behavior of a state. Okay. If anything, governor of that respective state feels that this thing is not going to be right, then that governor will submit his report to the President of India. Okay. So I am moving to the next slide. Is any other slide remaining? No, students. See, students. Yesterday I have covered the topic of councils of ministers. That councils of minister is union councils of minister. Okay. So that council of minister is union council of minister. Okay. So the question is related with union councils of minister. I hope I am not consuming more time. So let's see one by one. I think 4 to 5 questions here, and I will analyze the whole questions in a proper way. Fine. Have you get it or not? Okay. Let's start with it. See, any minister, question number 1. Okay. Here is the question number 1, that any minister can serve to his office. Any minister can serve to his office without being an MP for a maximum period of. I have taught you na, that how much maximum period has been given if any person is not an MP and became minister, then what is the maximum period in under which that minister has to become a member of parliament. Have you got it or not? Have you got it? So see, the option number 1, it is 1 month, it is 4 months, it is 6 weeks, or it is 6 months. Are the things being memorized to all of you or not? If not, then please revise the lectures again, because what you do, it doesn't matter when you are not able to solve the questions. Okay. So even if you are not capable to solve the questions, then try to memorize yourself again and again. Okay. The first question, any minister can serve to his office. Any minister, anyone can become a minister. Anyone, if any can become a minister. Okay. If you are fulfilling the criteria of contesting the election of member of parliament, then you are definitely eligible to become a minister. Okay, definitely. But when you become a minister, then within 6 months, see, option number D is the right answer. Within 6 months, you have to become a member of parliament. Okay, so you have to become a member of parliament. So any minister can serve to his office without being an MP for a maximum period of 6 months. So I hope this is clear to all of you. Is it or not? If not, then please told us. Okay, because this question is only fact based. Fine. So I hope this question is clear to all of you. So now going to the second question. Okay. Our second question is that ministers will take the oath according to which article or which part of the Constitution of India? Have you got it? Tell me. Okay, I am repeating it again. Ministers will take the oath according to which? Is it Article 60? Is it true? Definitely not. Article 60 tells that President will take the oath. Article 60 especially mentions in the Constitution of India to take the oath of President of India. Okay, to take the oath of President of India, not for any others. This is especially for President of India, not for any ministers or anyone. And Article 60 says that President will take the oath as I will preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of India. Okay. So this statement is incorrect regarding this question, because this question is asking about ministers. Schedule 5. Is it right? No. Schedule 3. Yes, this is the right answer. Article 32. Article 32 comes under fundamental rights. Okay. And Article 32 tells that constitutional remedies. Okay, the soul of the constitution. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar told that during the Constituent Assembly discussion, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar told that Article 32 is the soul of the Constitution of India. That is fundamental rights. That comes under fundamental rights. Okay. Remember, or have you forgotten all the points? Sorcery, provision, mandamus, habeas corpus and quo warranto. Have you get it? Habeas corpus, mandamus, certiorari, prohibition, quo warranto. So those comes under Article 32. Fine. So the correct answer will be Schedule 3 of the Constitution of India. All the ministers, even the prime ministers also take oath under the Schedule 3 of the Indian Constitution. Okay. So I am moving to the next question. Okay. Fine. So both questions have been clear to all of you. I hope so. Our next question is about Council of Ministers. Here is question about Union Council of Ministers, because yesterday topic was Union Council of Ministers. So Union Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to two types of responsibility. I have told you, one is collective, another one is individuals. I have qualified both the separation. Both types I have qualified. Okay. If not, just going to the previous lecture and see again. So responsible to either legislature, prime minister, president or none. Whomever. Is they responsible to none of them? Okay. No. He is responsible to legislature. Okay. Because prime minister can't be answered, because prime minister itself is in Council of Ministers. So how anyone can be responsible to yourself? Is it possible? You are responsible to yourself. Okay. Even if you are responsible to yourself, you will not accept that I am responsible to yourself, and that if this is your individual, but that's a matter of country too. That is why this option is automatically incorrect. Okay, this is incorrect because anyway they have the special authority, so they have the responsibility too. So it is not possible that they do not have the responsibility. Okay, so this or this. So little bit combine yourself a memorizing capacity and mark the answer correct legislature. So now move to the next question, that is question number 4. See, maximum size of councils of ministers is how much % of total strength of the Lok Sabha? LS means Lok Sabha. Okay, this is for both a state level and as well as union level. This question is for both. I have said this question for, our team has said this question for Union Council of Ministers, but since both are same, that is why I am explaining you that this will allow for both. So maximum how much %? That if I have given you example that if 500 MPs are present in Lok Sabha, then you can appoint maximum 75 MPs as ministers. Have you got it or not? Have you memorizing that one? I have given you the example in the previous lecture. So how much % this is? This is 15%. Okay. So you can make ministers less than 15%, you can make. It is not necessary to complete just, okay, this fixed one. You can make it less, but please don't cross this border line. Okay. Why? Because whenever there is a greeting of become ministers and all are want to become ministers, and then that council of ministers will be so bulky and elephant size that executive is really get a strengthened over the legislatures. That is why High Court and even Supreme Court decided that it will not cross the border of 15%. Okay, so the real option is D. Okay, these all three are incorrect. It is 15%. So moving to the next and final question. I hope that will be final. If any further question, I will also explain. See, who is not a part of Union Council of Ministers? Which of the following answers? Okay, which of the following answers are correct? For Union Council of Ministers, not a part. So which of the following are not a part of Union Council of Ministers? Is it President in Union Council of Ministers? President is put inside or not? See, President, Vice President, Prime Minister, these are the parts of Union Executive Authority and Central Council of Ministers. Never mix this kind of keywords. These are executive, Union Executive. These all fours are comes under Union Executive. But here is not talking about Union Executive. Here is particularly talk about Union Council of Ministers. Here is talk about Union Council of Ministers. Okay, Union Council of Ministers or Central Council of Ministers. Not talking about these three. So question asking that which of the following are not comes under this. If question will which of the following are not comes under this, then we will look into that. But the question is which of the following is not comes under Union Council of Ministers. So are you getting it? That if question will ask that which of the following is not comes under Union Executive, then you have to look these four bodies. But the question here is which of the following is not comes under Union Council of Ministers, not Union Executive. So President, is it? Cabinet Minister will definitely. I hope I have explained you about this one. PM, Cabinet Minister, Ministers of a State, Independent Charge, Minister of a State again, but not independent charge, and after that Deputy Ministers. If not, then please visit the previous lectures. Okay, so this will of course a correct one. Prime Minister, of course, because he is the chairperson of Council of Ministers. Deputy Ministers, right now I am telling you. Okay, here is Prime Minister, Cabinet Minister, above means low, position low. Okay, so PM, Cabinet Ministers, Minister of a State of Independent Charge, after that Minister of a State but not Independent Charge, after that Deputy Minister. These are the junior ministers. Okay, so Deputy Minister comes under Union Council of Ministers. Prime Ministers also comes under Union Council of Ministers. Cabinet Minister definitely comes under Union Council of Ministers. Automatically President decline. So when you get confused about any option, any answers, after looking question, if you will get confused that it may be possible that President also. So please exclude the options. It is possible that if you are going to keep habit with that, you can solve 20 to 25 question in UPSC exam by excluding the options, if you have the capacity to do it. Not even 25, but at least 15 to necessary. 15 question you can necessarily solve this if you are not knowing the right answers. Okay, so you can exclude the options according to your knowledge. Okay, this kind of habitual must be often regarded. Okay, so any other question remaining, just see if any other slide is remaining. No. So students, this is a actually little bit of small session, but since it is so easy, because earlier we have read about Indian Executive Councils, so it is so easy. Now in upcoming session we will talk about Chief Ministers, and after that we will cover a State Council of Ministers. So we will meet again tomorrow. Okay students, so thank you so much. Thank you.